You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects that all of us love to frolic about in our free time. The Batman Book Club is also on Patreon. If you like what's going on with the show and you want to help the show keep the generators running in the Wayne Manor study, be a great Christmas gift. Just go to patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Now, this isn't the only Christmas related episode of the Batman Book Club this year. As you know, I had Mr. Minnesota on, Minneapolis' own Santa Claus, Garrett Grev, last episode, talking A Christmas Carol. Well, we're back again to talk another Christmas issue, one maybe a little bit better known, Slayride. And I've got somebody special with me. He's the artist formerly known as J. Rocca. It's one Sir Justin Kowalski. Kowalski!
What's up? What's up? What's up? Merry Christmas, Lauer.
You know what? Merry Christmas,
Merry
Justin.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And I know we will text each other on Christmas to say the same thing, but I'm looking at your face right now, and I'm saying it.
Merry Christmas.
Good,
Happy holidays.
Goodwill toward men.
Good. I was trying to quote Batman Returns.
Yeah,
Goodwill
I've watched that like
Alfred
4 times this past month, and I've
and
gone to
women.
sleep. Yeah, come what may. Merry Christmas, Master Wayne.
Yeah, we haven't hit it yet. It's coming soon. We're trying to get through like the classic Christmas movies, and now when my wife doesn't want to watch a movie, we're about to put that one in. So
I've been going to bed to it too, and the weird, like, you'll start to nod off, but then something happens in the movie that's a little, spikes the volume. Like, huh? I look and it's, Penguin's in the duck, and I'm like, all right, he's in the duck. The movie's almost over. Do I turn the TV off now, or should I just restart it and fall asleep? I don't know. All right, how's the Christmas season going for you though?
It seems less festive this year for some reason. I think there's just been it makes me sad, man. Not a lot of activity, just because I feel like my son's been really busy with his extracurricular things, and my wife's been a little busier with her new job, and I'm like, man, I feel Christmas is next week, and I just don't feel like we did all the. Sorry, this is all sad.
No, it's okay.
I feel like we didn't go downtown to see the lights and all the things that I like doing. I love doing the Christmas things, and I'm feeling like I feel sad.
Behind.
Yeah, I do feel a little behind. I'm taking my kids. They're gonna do their Christmas shopping today because this is the only time that
good.
They're off. Today is like the first day off for vacation, so I'm gonna take them out.
It's strange. I've talked to my mirror about it like last week, and I was like, this Christmas season is just I think it's just kind of odd. There's something that's just a little odd about it, and that's not dealing. We're not talking politics, any of that stuff. Like, it's just kind of strange because, like, I don't think we haven't gotten to do too much like Christmassy festive things. And I'm not like a hard line in the sand of like no Christmas till after Thanksgiving, but we don't usually do stuff until after Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving being late this year shortens that window till Christmas. I don't want to be like an old man of like, time went by fast this year, but it's like, oh my gosh, we're just a few days away from Christmas, and like, how can we do something? Like, we need to go do something festive. We need some Christmassy. And so I mean, I've got my I'll show Justin. I've got my Christmas sweater ready, and
Nice.
I do have my family Christmas tomorrow, and it does come with matching ugly sweater Batman socks.
Nice.
Nice. So I mean, and then like on Christmas will probably be my Ninja Turtles one. So I mean,
nice.
I'm getting there. I'm working toward it. I'm trying.
I saw the best. There's a company now that you can make ugly Christmas sweaters. You can just make your
Making
own
yourself?
upload a
Or
graphic.
design? Ooh.
I saw one and it was, oh gosh, it's hard for me to buy an ugly Christmas sweater because I feel like they're like it's a one-off. You wear it once and then you sell it or
Sure.
whatever. But this one I wish I had, and it was it's the same style you just showed me, but it had P Diddy on it, and it says he knows when you are sleeping.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I was like, I would have wore that.
Justin,
That was
you wouldn't have
hilarious.
worn it to church though, right?
I would have wore it to the staff party.
Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow. Holy
Because I
crap.
just thought it was I mean, there's funny is funny. I just thought that was funny. I was like, oh
I think that
man.
is, and that would be this year only. Like I
Yeah,
don't think it
just
has
year
next
only.
year at all on it. So it's like
Nah.
how much are you willing to spend on the joke? Oh
Yeah. I'm like,
God. Oh my
So
gosh. Would not have expected that though. Holy crap. No, that's good.
all right. All right.
Something that's been really fun doing is because, as I mentioned on the last episode too, I finally, Justin, have subscribed to DC Universe Infinite
Oh, finally, huh?
because I
You
just
were
said, and
forced.
I told, well, to some that were surprised, I was like, no, you don't understand the power of Hoopla. Like, if I
Yeah.
don't already own it, or I just bought it, then there are like the chances of it being on Hoopla are there, and I'm like, so I just
Yeah.
really haven't needed to get it. Well, then
Yeah.
I think for like Black Friday or something, they were doing a nice like percent off or whatever to where it was just like three something a month for the first 3 months, and I'm like,
Yeah.
let's deep dive into some Christmas stuff. And
Yeah.
they did a really cool thing of categorizing into DC Christmas and looking at all these issues and stuff like that. And so I actually, yeah, it's been a lot of fun reading like, I don't know, like 20 something comics that were,
Yeah.
like Batman and Christmas and stuff like that. And
That's
so
fun.
it also made it easier that Garrett wanted to do a Christmas comic, and you and I had already locked this one in, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've got DC Universe Infinite, so
Yeah.
let's dive
Ultra.
in.
Do you have Ultra?
Oh, no, don't have
Ah,
Ultra, but Ultra that like I don't need Ultra flat out
okay.
because one BOF perks, so I'm
Yeah.
already getting to read the new stuff, and then also like Ultra is the collected stuff, all the collected stuff is on Hoopla, or I
Gotcha.
have it, so it's like definitely
Okay.
don't need the Ultra part, just the Infinite.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little backstory, and I what I do recommend it
Yeah.
for
Yeah. I'm
anybody
thinking
who's
about
on the
getting it.
fence. It's
I'm I'm thinking about it this year.
fun.
I'm thinking about
Yeah.
re-upping my Marvel Unlimited and my
Hmm.
DC Infinite. Because I do sometimes Hoopla doesn't have it. And I think
Yeah.
Hoopla isn't it's depending upon your library.
Yeah.
Because like if you're because there was a book one time you had it, I was like, it's not on my Hoopla, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking,
Yeah,
I'm
that was
searching.
strange
Yeah, I
because I
think it was
found
one of
it
the
and you
Halloween
couldn't.
things. Yeah, I was
Hmm.
like, my library said no.
That's
So
crazy. That's
yeah,
wild. I
really,
thought it was
really,
a
really
nationwide
interesting.
thing.
Yeah,
Nationwide is on your side, not a
yeah,
sponsor of the Batman Book Club.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and I'm definitely like I just added to. I want to go through the entirety of the Legends of the Dark Knight title because I
Oh,
know that
that's
there
cool.
are issues in that I haven't read before, and I'm like, this is the
Mm,
time. This is the
yeah,
time. This is the place.
yeah.
But as for the time and the place, Justin, this is the time and this is the place for us to talk about Detective Comics number 826,
Yes, it
Slayride.
is.
Are you
All
ready?
right. I'm ready, bro.
All right.
I'm ready.
Detective 826, Slayride. Released in December of 2006. Written by Paul Dini with art by Don Kramer. Now, this sucker was released physically. It's now,
Mm.
available digitally. It's on DC Universe Infinite.
Infinite.
It's uh, included in the Paul Dini Omnibus, just like Heart of Hush a few episodes back that I talked about. This issue is collected in the Joker 75 and 80 year celebration hardcovers, and those hardcovers
Oh
are
wow.
on my favorite app of all time, Hoopla.
Hoopla.
This is a case of just like with anytime we're talking just one like individual issue on this show, like there's usually countless places where it can be found, and
Uh,
yeah, you can find this issue anywhere at digitally. So that said, Justin, which version did you read?
I read, and it was so funny because I thought I had the physical issue, and I
Ooh.
didn't.
Ah,
I can't. there's like a little gap there in '06. So I remember it's where I stepped off reading monthly comics. I was like,
Mm.
1 year later stuff I didn't have. I was like, oh, I don't have this. But I was like, I know I read it because I had this. I had this trade.
Yeah.
So I remember there was
Okay,
a
it
time.
says Batman Detective Paul Dini, and that's got
Yeah.
Slayride in it.
Yeah. It has like there's like 5 issues in here. And
Because
so
there was another oh my gosh, if I just pull it up really quick. Stand by, Justin. I'm
yeah, I'm
gonna
standing by.
fill empty space. Blah blah blah. Okay,
Yeah,
there's
comics.
Batman Death in the City, and then
Hmm.
Batman Detective.
Yeah.
Both Paul Dini. I do have a couple of the issues, I think, of the what's included in Death in the City, but I didn't dive any deeper. I was like, oh, I wonder if this issue's in that Batman Detective trade,
Mm.
and you just held it up, and it is.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
haven't like those are a little harder to find, I think now.
Yeah, I mean, there was, like I said, there was a time where I wasn't bu buying the monthly comics,
Yeah,
and but I was still buying trades. I would go to Borders and buy
yeah.
just trades. I was
Ah,
like,
I
oh,
remember Borders.
yeah. So that's where
I loved
I
Borders.
read like 52, and like
Hmm.
I bought those trades there, and so that's kind of I kept up. I just wasn't on the monthly, and I was like, oh, this is cheaper anyways. So I remember buying this, and when you were like, this is the issue we're doing, I could not, dude. I went through all my boxes and my system. I'm like, I thought I had that. How did I read it? And then I was like, I know I didn't read it digitally.
Hmm.
And then I was looking on my shelf and I was like, oh, I bet you it's in that Paul Dini collection. And there it is. So
Go Paul Dini.
yeah.
Good for
So
you.
yeah, I was like,
God bless.
goodness. God bless
This
America.
one,
All right.
God bless us, everyone. I
God bless
read
everyone.
the a digital version
Hmm.
through Comixology now, just like the Amazon Kindle app,
Okay.
whatever. Now, because this was one, or no, I'm gonna answer that because I'll add to it with next question. Do you remember when you first read this?
Yeah. 2007,
Yeah, like right
way
around
back
when it
then.
came out.
Yeah. Yeah. So as soon as this thing, like I said, once it came out in the trade,
Yeah.
that's when I read it. So
I was pretty late to the game on this one, but I think there was probably the 2016, 2017. I feel like this issue had another circulation of popularity.
hmm.
It seemed like every avenue that I was looking at and exploring was bringing up this issue. And it's weird because I was really, I got back into monthlies in 2006 and was paying attention. And so you have, like a 10-year gap there where I hadn't really heard about this issue
Hmm.
for some odd reason. And so I was seeing it probably was around Christmas time, and bringing up this issue. And I was like, how have I never read this? And I missed it and blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
it was like right before I was picking up monthlies again or, yeah, now that doesn't make any sense. If I got into monthlies in 2006, it's weird. I don't know. Anyways, so I first read it around then because I
Hmm.
just bought it digitally because it was only like $2 or something. And so
Right.
that's the version that I actually read for this as well. And of any of Dini's physical issues, like this would be one that I think I would want like the physical issue, which I could
Gotcha.
probably find. I don't know that it would be that expensive. It's
Yeah, it's
just
probably not
looking
too
in the right
expensive.
place.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is weird
and
because his run was incredible. Like going
yeah.
back, I've read all of his run now, his
Hmm.
Dean in the Streets of Gotham and stuff like that. Like that was actually a really great year of Batman comics.
Hmm. Yeah, he had a solid run. He did fun stuff. I know with Ventriloquist, with Zatanna, with the Riddler, obviously with Heart of Hush.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
And it was and he that was the era that he created the Carpenter, which I think is a fun character. And then it like spawned into you just said Streets of Gotham, which
Hmm.
that was just like a series that nobody ever brings up. And it's like that was like the Hush was in that. Hush was in
Yeah,
Streets of Gotham, and nobody knows that.
yeah.
And then he also spun off into Gotham City Sirens, and I read that as well. Um, yeah, Dini, he was doing some really good stuff there,
Yeah.
and I think he was bringing up also kind of he could do like which is pretty absent now, and I don't mean to sound like something that a lot of comic people bitching about comics. I don't mean to sound like that, but like one-offs, standalone issues.
Hmm.
There isn't as much of that, and Dini was doing that in this era, this
Well,
issue
that's what this whole collection
specifically.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like great, just like kind of like one-offs, and it's like he brings in like in Heart of Hush, there's a couple of things that pop up that like, oh yeah, well, if you're paying it, like if you've been reading his issues, he's bringing like a mention or a character back in, but it's not
Yeah.
reliant that you read
Yeah.
previously. And so he like appreciate that. I appreciate that about this issue also.
Mhm.
Um, and we can get into that in a little bit too. But then why was Slayride your choice?
I remember when we were talking about it. It was more of a uh, here's what's available of Christmas, and I remember the story of like, oh, I remember it being a more disturbing kind of like Christmas story
Hmm.
because and it was actually really funny because it's more Robin than Batman here on
Hmm.
the Batman Book Club.
Hmm. Yeah,
You're
oh, we'll
very
get to that.
particular, buddy. You're
Yep.
very
Yep.
particular.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, I just remember like I want to revisit that because I do remember it being an interesting story in the Robin Joker dynamic is just a whole different bird. I get it. It's a whole different
Oh,
hey.
he came with jokes today.
Came with jokes today. So I just wanted to revisit because I haven't read this since probably 2007, maybe I picked it up again
Wow.
like afterwards. So
Okay.
it's been a long time, dude. Yeah, it's been like, what is it, 16 years or so
Oof.
since reading this.
Yeah.
So I remember in general what the story was. Like the Joker had Robin and they were driving around Gotham doing shenanigans, but I was like, how did it get set up? How did it get resolved? I
Yeah.
didn't remember all that. And so I was like really wanting to revisit the story. So that was
Well, you say Tim
kind of how it
Drake. I'm
started.
trying to think. I think when Tim Drake Robin, it was initially a four-issue miniseries, right? In the early 90s, I think when it first
Five. It
started.
was five. The first one was five
Five.
issues.
Okay. I
Yeah.
had those, and then I was given those as well as like Joker's Wild, which was
Yeah.
like maybe four issues. And that was really cool because it had one of those, I don't know what you call it. It looked gray, but depending on the light, you could turn it back and forth and it's an image of
Yeah.
Joker. Like that was part of the cover on the four issues.
Yeah.
So me as a kid, I'd just like look at that and be like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I
Yeah.
thought there was some kind of, not between those two series, but like I thought Tim Drake's Robin and Joker met around that time. But otherwise, that's like,
No, that was the first one because when he
okay.
sees them in the van, I remember that. It's so crazy. I remember those issues where
Hmm.
it's Christmas. It's actually I think it's winter because I believe it's a Christmas story, isn't it? Oh
See, I'm
man, we're gonna have to
blanking.
look back.
It's been a while.
But
It's
I
been a
just
while.
yeah, for some reason I think there was snow, and I think Tim Drake had the black arms because he would wear like thermals in winter stories that they were like,
Yeah, he looks cool.
give the guy some sleeves. It's
Yeah.
cold. So
They
I
gave him
I
pants, thanks God.
yeah, I remember where he sees Robin, the Joker is just like, I killed you. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. I got things to do. I'll just kill him again. And that there was some type of exchange like that. And so that was the first meeting of Drake and Joker. That's why it was in the miniseries because it was like a big deal. It was like, oh, the Joker
Cool.
killed the last Robin.
Yeah.
Here's how these two meet. So
And you think that was in the Robin?
that
Yeah,
was
because if
Robin.
Joker
That was
just has a
Robin
quick
2,
little
Joker's Wild. Yeah.
Robin 2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Now
Yeah.
we're cooking with
I'm
gas.
pretty sure.
Okay.
Come fact
Um,
check me.
man, that's gonna be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
Robin 2, Joker's Wild. I had those as well.
Yeah.
Um, oh,
It was weird. It was
oh my
weird
gosh,
because
I'm
they did have the
totally
holograms, but like the first issue had like five covers, and each significant every next issue, the
DC
covers were
Universe
down.
Infinite.
There
It's
you
just an
go.
empty space. Just an empty space.
Where the hologram was.
They weren't even gonna try to
That's
digitally
so
scan
weird
it or anything.
because there was a non-hologram cover.
Yeah.
There was non-hologram covers, and then there were hologram cover,
Oh
and
man,
then each issue
this is
had
a
less holograms as it went down. It was
this is
weird.
a this is a blast from the past, dude. I'm gonna have to read this for
I
sure.
think it was
This
only four.
excites me.
Was it a four-issue miniseries?
Yeah, it looks like four.
Yeah, Cry of the Huntress
Four.
had six issues, I
Wow.
think.
Well, six is good.
Six is good.
Six is good. Got to drop that on my boss yesterday, and he laughed because he's an '89 fan too. And I go, "Well,
Oh,
six,
nice.
because you know what Knox says? Six is good."
Six is good.
He's like,
Six is
"Us."
good.
Anyways,
Praise.
all right. Give me a grant,
Yeah,
please.
give me a grant. He's like, you're getting a grant. Oh,
All right.
he should have
So
jumped back.
I know. Damn it. Let's see. So let's talk about this issue overall, Justin, because I am particular with the Batman
Yeah,
Book
you
Club.
are. You
I am.
are.
And I said if Batman is not the star, he has to have a crucial role in a
Hmm.
story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to deviate from the Batman book club, and it's going to be the broader DC Universe book club, which I'm not interested in because
Yeah.
it's not the Batman book club.
Yeah.
Justin, I feel like tonight I'm going to break my one rule
Yeah. You
tonight. Yeah.
definitely are breaking your one.
Because I remember in this because as much as I've read this since I
Yeah.
first bought it, it's not like one I can like recite.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, and I don't mean this negatively at all. It doesn't stick with me in the sense of like, oh yeah, I know every single beat, every single thing. Blah,
Hmm.
blah, 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 blah. But looking back on it and doing the Christmas episodes for this show, I know I was like a little relieved that nobody would choose Slayride because I'm like, I think that's just hard to justify to do on the show because Batman's not present. Batman's not present. And so then with you and mentioning Slayride, and it was like, well, I just feel like it's sometime we got to talk about it because I feel like it's beloved. I think
Yeah.
anybody that's doing what I'm doing of reading Christmas, Christmas issues of comics this time of year and
Yeah.
everything, they always read Sleigh Ride. It's under the Detective Comics banner of which is Batman's banner. Okay, let's just cover it. And then reading
Yeah.
it this time again and seeing of like there's like three panels of Bruce and two panels of Batman.
Yeah.
None of it is flat out crucial
Yeah.
to Robin in this issue.
Yeah.
So I think you will be the first person to have
Yes. Take
broken this
that.
rule, and I allowed it.
Take it, Garrett Grev.
Yeah. Garrett would never want to break a rule. He'd
Yeah.
feel like he'd be punished if he
That's
was
right.
naughty.
Well,
But
well,
Justin, he
yeah.
crossed the lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
He
get on the
pushes
naughty
the
list. I'll get on
Yeah,
the
he's
naughty
on the
list. Let's
naughty
go.
list. So we
That's
can
right.
talk about Batman for sure, but I just want to admit up front that definitely I recognize that this is I'm being a little hypocritical here. And you know what? I'm
Yeah.
okay with it for this issue.
It takes place in the flagship Batman comic book.
Yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
goodness.
I want to absolve you of any guilt or shame that
Whew.
you might be experiencing right now.
Justin said it, then I think it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
You're good.
story overall is contained, as we already mentioned. It's a one-off issue.
Mhm.
You don't have to do any kind of homework before reading this or after reading this. And I love the long arcs. I do love big stories and everything. It's also a breath of fresh air to get like how comics used to be of you get one issue, one story. 826, you don't have to read 825 comics to understand this one. You don't have to read anything. You just read this issue. And I really love that. What I like even more is that three-fourths of the story is a car ride between
Mhm.
Joker and Robin,
Robin.
Freudian
Yeah.
slip.
That's right.
Uh, and it's holiday themed, it's Christmas time. Who better than Paul Dini, to write that issue?
Yeah.
So Batman's not really in this. He's not crucial to it. But out the gate, Justin, I'll say like I do love this issue.
Yeah. It's, after reading it though, and here's I don't want to ruin the theme of the show. I did feel
Go
they
for it.
didn't lean into Christmas as much as they could have.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
It
Like
is.
minus I don't even think they mentioned the
I don't
only
think they say
Christmassy thing
Christmas.
mentioned is heading towards Santa
They
Claus
mentioned,
was he's
yep,
yeah,
mentioned Santa Claus.
I thought there would be a little more like ho ho ho. Maybe the eggnog like shakes that he wants to get
Uh-huh.
at the McDonald's, but like there wasn't a um I feel like you can really lean into some goofy Joker stuff with Santa Claus and Christmas and stuff. And I don't think they did. And so on that note, I feel there's a little bit of a Christmas vibe letdown. And I thought it was stronger. I thought it was a stronger connection based on like remembering reading it before. Like I know it takes place during Christmas. Like
Hmm.
I know like, oh yeah, Sleigh Ride takes place during the holiday season, but the script doesn't really hit much. And so I don't know if it was something they adapted, like, well, we have an open month in December, let's turn it into a Christmas story.
I think
So
that's fair. I
yeah.
think that's where Kramer comes into play
Hmm.
really well in the settings. Joker has a Santa hat on.
Yeah.
He wraps Robin up in Christmas lights. He
Yeah.
sticks an ornament in his mouth and duct tapes it shut. You see, like the the spoiler alert, the dead people that owned the vehicle, they were doing Christmas shopping because you see Christmas presents in the back
Yeah.
seat. Um, some of the people that Joker hits, you see their presents go flying, and then like you said too, of Santa Claus is sitting there with kids on his lap and he's driving right toward him. So it's like
Yeah.
that's where I think I don't disagree with you. Uh, and I think absolutely the potential is here of like this story it could almost be the same thing, except for the one joke that we'll get to, which could maybe still work. I don't know that it could work, but
Hmm.
like this could be something that takes place in the summer, in the
Yeah.
spring, in the fall. You could move this to it's whatever season you need
Yeah.
to, but Kramer really adds Christmas and holiday flair to it that
Yeah.
has made this, and then the title of it, Slayride.
Yeah.
Um, like it really leaned in it so that I think helps elevate it, but I don't disagree with you of like when it comes to the dialogue and stuff that it doesn't like it is you could say lacking I don't even know if I like that word. It's just not
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. I think
which
it was just a story they that Deanie had in the pocket and like, hey, we can make this a Christmas
we
thing.
can make this Christmassy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
I don't mind that at all. Because the focus here is, which is so funny too. And I love this kind of stuff too. If you had too much of one thing, you'll start to get tired and now you'll want the opposite, right? So I don't want every single comic to just be dialogue in a small
mhm,
space. I don't want every single comic to be big monster like monsters and explosions. It's like we can bounce back and forth, we can
mhm,
mix. Here it's just so small scale though that it really works for me
mhm,
because of this one-sided conversation of Joker talking and one like classic Dini, I swear he just has a switch for writing
mhm.
Joker that he
Yeah.
can just boop and
Mhm.
he's writing Joker and Joker is 100% Joker in this of like everything that he's saying and what he does and then how he flips a switch and you have a great panel where it's like oh snap this is like evil threatening Joker and then
Yeah.
literally Joker's having so much fun saying the giving his order and then a
Yeah.
couple frames later, where's your manager? And then
Yeah.
blasts the manager and like that's the
Yeah.
freaking Joker.
Yeah.
And but it's not like too one-sided because you were constantly getting Robin's inner dialogue,
Yeah.
which I think is really strong and it's a really great bouncing back and forth
Yeah. It's
between
a
the two.
terrifying like setup.
Yeah.
Like Joker just plowing into people like,
Hmm.
oh, and that's why I thought like, oh, they could have really played into like how all of this nonsense is ruining not just these people's lives, but it's also, I mean, this is impacting people's Christmases now. Like
Yeah.
there could have been a real like gravity there that he missed. That and again, just reading this, the rereading it the other day, I was like, man, it didn't hit the Christmas stuff as much as I thought it did. There's like a he
It
is singing,
literally
I think,
hit Christmas
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Oh, but because there's nothing worse than tragedy during a holiday,
Oh my
and
gosh,
I
yeah.
and yeah, in not to go like heavy and deep on a comic, but like man, that type of stuff really plays up the evil of the Joker, right? The
Yes.
Joker, like we're laughing with him and all that stuff, but like, man, what he's doing is crazy. He's trying to traumatize Robin, you know, and then in the midst of it, he's just taking people out,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, dude, this is actually really twisted, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Which
and
I think is pending your mood is if you can because it was mentioned before of like with Ledger's Joker of like I'm laughing, but I'm almost kind of feeling bad that I'm laughing.
yeah,
Because it's like some dark humor to it. So pending your mood, you can laugh along with the dark humor, or you can be like it very drawn in by like, oh, this is like twisted and evil. Just I think just pending your mood, however you're feeling.
yeah,
Because and that it's like that's the Joker then. Like that means that he hit the right balance where
hmm,
the character is speaking so, like I'm gonna let you go. And da, 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 da,
yeah,
da. And then it's like he pulls out a gun and shoots
yeah,
and kills an innocent person, hits another person, and then he has that panel, which I really love it, where let me flip to it. Yeah, where it's drawn excellently and he's just like that's where he twists, like that's like the darker, threatening one. And
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm not gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
It's like, well, of course, why would he? But
Yeah.
that's the Joker sitting there that Daniel O'Neill said, it's so long ago. Like, you don't, you, he used different examples, but it's like, you don't know if he's going to shoot you in the face or if he's going to give you a playing card. You don't
Yeah.
know. And it's like, that's why
Yeah.
he's great. And I think that's everywhere in this.
Yeah. And that was the part in the story that I like where like Bruce is explaining, like, man, once he zeroes in on his target, like
Hmm.
that poor person, like that he's target, you're done.
Yeah.
You gave as soon as you give him permission by staring at him, like you're his target. And I thought that was a good observation of Bruce, to kind of like
Yeah, let me
hit
read
this.
that. I think that's a great point to bring up, and that's how we can talk about actual, Bruce Wayne
Batman.
and Batman is let's see, because it's a conversation somewhere because people apparently the three just go and hang out on an old boat on a dock or something, and Bruce
Yeah.
kicks wood. Because yeah, that's what he
Yeah, I
does.
was like, what is going on? Like that was the one thing
Ah,
I thought this part of the story, like visually, was kind of
bland.
bland and like I'm like, is that Tim Drake? I couldn't tell who the heck was who.
Yes. At first, because my memory isn't fresh, I'm like, Bruce is throwing darts and Dick's watch or nope, that's not Dick, that's
No,
Tim.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So Tim
yeah,
and Bruce, okay, it's just those two and he's throwing darts. But then wait, something that he just mentioned, and he's like, wait, somebody's doing backflips outside.
yeah.
Who's that? Oh,
That's
that's
Bruce.
Bruce. Okay,
Yeah,
wait. And then
yeah.
it's like,
Dick
why are
Grayson
they
looks really old in this. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. I was
And
like,
and then it's like, why is this the setting?
yeah,
Looking too far into it, but I'm not going to ignore it either. Like I was thinking that, like, where are they and why? Now, that
they're in a
said,
bunker. Yeah, somewhere.
Dick says, they because it brings up um the Joker, who he is
Yeah,
really, and Dick says like there's not much to, I've heard he was a sad failed comedian just as often as I've heard he was always a monster. All
mm,
anyone knows for sure is that the accident that scarred him turned him to what he is now. I can tell you this though, he loves what he does. I've
yeah,
seen him saunter into a room and then stop just to listen to those first curious whispers and savor how quickly they turn into screams. It's candy to him, a sip of rare wine, the chorus of a favorite song. Tim says, blood in the water. And then Bruce comes in and he says, exactly. Then his eyes dart around until they lock with the person who is scared of him the most. His grin widens, he moves forward like a comic going into a routine, and God help the poor soul he chooses. I really like that because I'm like, that is the part of like of a movie where there's like the rising like very like scared almost like the Joker's theme
hmm,
is it could like you could slowly start bringing that up as this is being
yeah,
mentioned because it's like yeah that can be filmed for like a horror movie. That's the Joker, that's a threatening Joker, and
yeah,
I think that's I just really appreciate like that them talking about the threat of the Joker, and then we're back in the car with him, which I think is funny too that Tim makes the mistake of somebody's that throws open a
yeah,
door. Hey, Robin, come
yeah,
on in.
yeah.
Okay.
I know. You just have to go with the conceit. Okay,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you got
It's
to
a
get him in the
comic,
car. Yeah,
whatever. It's a comic, but it's like,
yeah.
really? Bruce
That
didn't
did
tell you
that.
number one, don't ride with strangers?
Yeah, that did Bruce's whole like explanation of the Joker. It did remind me of the Dark Knight, like right when he gets off the
Yeah.
elevator and that guy's like, I'm scared of you, and the Joker's like, oh, he wants to cut his
Yeah.
face, and he probably would have if Maggie Gyllenhaal didn't call him out. So
Yeah.
it did echo that, but yeah. So after that, you do get into he is singing a Christmas song, and so with the hat, you do get the sense that Joker's just joyriding around, singing songs and putting the holiday spirit in there. Um, it's it's wild. It's a twisted take, man. Like just running over folks in cars and
Well, and
uh
that flashback also introduces the fact of, for some reason, to add to this strange setting in the past, Tim was watching Marx Brothers,
yeah,
because that's what teenagers did in 2006 was watch
you know.
70-year-old Marx Brothers movies.
Well, because that's all they had available on whatever
Oh, okay, okay.
the
And the other guy
that's what
says,
he said. The tub. I was like, the tub. What's the tub? So they're
"Oh, sorry,
somewhere. I don't
the
know where the
tube."
heck they are. What are they
Yeah,
doing?
I don't know.
They're in some bunker somewhere.
If I ever meet
Like,
Paul Dini one day, he'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "I've got a question for you." How could you put? Where the hell are they in
where
826? And
where
be like, what?
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
No,
maybe I have to read the other episodes, the issues
it's
before. I don't know where the heck they are.
so it's mentioned. It's mentioned because it's blurry, so they must not have been able to exactly draw the scene from the Marx Brothers movie Monkey Business, where they're
Uh-huh.
talking about like it's the only this is the only way to travel, boys, the only way.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Marx Brothers, and then later on with a joke about this, there's no sanity clause. It's
Yeah.
that's from A Night at the Opera, the Marx Brothers. Now the
Yeah.
sanity clause,
Yeah.
obviously, like that plays perfectly in the issue, but then
Yeah.
also we've heard it so much in our heads from reading Killing Joke.
Yeah.
There is no sanity clause, So
Yeah.
that's like a fun, whether Dini meant to or not, like
Yeah.
that's like a fun little callback. That's aside from the very obvious of what Dick says in that flashback of like, I've heard he's a failed comedian, just as like that's a direct like, oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Killing Joke. Like we've seen that.
Yeah.
Um, so that it's funny to me that like Dini finds a way to work in his Marx Brothers because he does that with in the animated series with Joker of Marx Brothers and the Stooges. Like
Yeah.
there's more times where it's so small and subtle, but while Joker's doing something, he goes like those are curly noises, and then he's like
Yeah. Yeah.
doing stuff like that. Uh, Dini can bring that magic in, and it totally works. Um, I've mentioned it a few times. I love the McDonald's bit without talking about McDonald's.
Yeah.
We know what they're talking about. We know he's mentioning he wants those eggnog shakes. Also, perfect Joker that this random freaking pull of the eggnog shakes because Justin, I loved McDonald's eggnog shakes growing up.
Oh, really?
Loved them. I know it's all fat, just like the Joker says. I don't care. They were delicious. I loved them.
I like when he says, "I'll also buy all the Happy Meal toys."
The assortment. I'll pay extra
Yeah.
for the
I'll pay
assortment.
extra.
For the assortment of
I just
toys.
remember that was a thing when they would put out like premiums that everyone wanted. Like, hey, can I just buy all the little all the DC characters?
Yeah.
I did that
It
one
would.
time when
Oh,
Subway
nice.
had a DC Happy Meal for the Subway sandwiches.
Uh-huh.
I remember I had a friend. She was like a manager. I was like, hey, can I just buy like all those? I don't want to buy all these sandwiches. And she's like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I didn't. I thought that like what you ordered, and you said a Happy Meal for a boy,
Uh,
and that's where it stops. And then you're just gonna get what they give you. I didn't know
yeah.
until my Mira one day. She flat out, yeah, like in the drive-thru, it was like, because it was I think they had Beware the Batman
Mhm.
um toys then, and she had something about like, do you have Beware the Batman toys? She's like, yeah. She's like, which ones? And it was like this or this. She's like, which one do you want? And I was like,
Hmm.
you can do that. And I was like,
I didn't know. I thought it was
I don't
weekly. I was
know.
like, this week we have Flash. You can only get
Yeah.
Flash this week. That's what I
So
thought. Because
and then they just haven't gone back to like the great Happy Meal toys
yeah,
anymore, and it's time. But anyways,
yeah,
I saw that too, and I loved that. I thought that was a
yeah,
great
that was a funny line.
that's fun Joker bit, of
Yeah,
I want the toys.
yeah, that was funny.
And there's a few prices, 49 cents for something on the menu. Like those were
Oh
some
yeah,
good
yeah.
prices.
Those are
And then
those little McCheeseburgers.
yeah, um manager bites the dust on that one. So another point we brought up too, and I think this is great. He says may as well ditch the gag. So we've, it's I think it's been great finding tension here, getting the internal dialogue of Robin trying to figure out like there's always another way out. There's always a way
Yeah,
out. And so, he's thinking under the seat, this is a family car, there's got to be a toy, there's got to be something. And he grabs the
yeah,
the car and tries
yeah,
to, well, Joker's onto him and Joker had it there all along on purpose.
yeah,
And then he finally says, may as well ditch the gag too in case you'd like to beg now. How about it, Boy Wonder? Tell me your Christmas wish, as if I couldn't guess. So Robin's not saying anything, doesn't want to give him any kind of ammo at all. So then this is like a great way to bring in tension is
hmm
Joker saying, well, if you won't plead with me for your life, I'm sure you'll speak up for someone else's. And then we
yeah,
get this different angle of kids sitting on Santa because Santa, obviously in cities, he goes on sidewalks and sits in chairs and says, come here, kids, tell me what you want for Christmas.
yeah. Right. This is the public Santa Claus.
Yeah, public Santa Claus. But he looks good. And then Joker, oh, looky, kids and Santa, and starts speeding right toward him. And I really like the two panels here. I think Kramer does a really great job of drawing Joker. I love his pencils,
Yeah,
especially
he
on
did a
the
good job.
close-ups of him. And like the green really like pops in this setting as well. And Last Chance Junior, sure you've got nothing to say for dear old Santa Claus? And then I just love this because this is total Joker as well. What does Joker want him to say? Like you don't know where it's gonna go. What would you say, Justin, that like the character of Joker wants to hear in this moment?
Oh, wait. In the part where he's gonna hit the kids?
Like he's aiming for Santa and he's looking like he wants Robin to say something clearly.
Yeah.
What does Joker want him like what does he want out of this? He loves the situation. I put you in this situation. Like I'm gonna win either way. I'm gonna get you to
Yeah.
talk, or I'm gonna take out these people and it's gonna be your fault because you didn't
Uh,
talk. That's
I
the
mean, I think
Joker doing his thing of it's a win-win for me, whatever you do.
yeah,
But what does he want to hear?
he just wants to hear stop,
Just
right?
stop like a begging, pleading.
Yeah, he just wants he wants Robin to plead to try to
Yeah,
tap into like they're kids, stop. But
sure.
so Robin's really clever because what he did, he tapped into the Joker's freaking uh, uh way of thinking. Like with that
Hmm.
quote, with the Marx Brothers quote, I think that was the best thing he can do because then it's almost like he became favored. This became a buddy cop film for about 5 minutes, right? Because what Robin is doing is he's creating a bond with the Joker
Yeah.
because that's the only way he's going to get out of this. And then he
Hmm.
frustrates him by misquoting the film.
Yeah.
It threw Joker off because they're just dialoguing like two guys. No, that quote's not from that film. It's from this other film. And so once he got distracted by it, that's when Robin like busted out the
So
fist.
that's awesome too. So well done, Deanie. All right, I'm
Yeah,
clapping. Woo! So there, you can't fool me. There ain't no sanity clause,
yeah,
and it catches. I think it catches Joker. It
yeah,
links back to that flashback scene
yeah,
more so than just like Dick and Bruce warning him about the Joker himself. It links back to that because Marx Brothers is part of that scene, and
yeah,
then it is funny in itself by using that joke, and it catches him
yeah,
off guard to where he just I think Joker himself, he'd have felt the same way hitting Santa as he did turning away. He got
yeah,
complete joy out of all of it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And then, yeah, like what you said, very good, a Marx Brothers quote. Very good. I am impressed. It does my heart good to know that today's mindless youth has not forgotten the classics. He
yeah,
says, sure, I love the big store. And then that also right on point for Joker. It pisses Joker off, like you said,
yeah,
because it's like, and then it's not from the big store. Like
yeah,
that's us nerds. If someone wants to say, "Oh yeah, Batman wasn't he in like the first issue of Detective Comics?" No, 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 it was
yeah.
Detective Comics 27. How
Come
dare you?
on! I'm pretty sure it
Gosh,
was Detective Comics
Mom,
number one.
did you not get that, Mom? Grandma,
Yeah,
sit down. You're not much better. Um, and I love that that's what he uses as his ammo, gets Joker distracted, and then like you said too, that's his moment to strike. Frees
yeah.
his hand from his glove, fights Joker, and now it becomes like a quick fight where, you know, use what you can, jump
Yeah.
behind one of the dead bodies where Joker punches
Oh,
the teeth, and it's like, oh, it's a little
yeah.
gnarly. I
Yeah, I
know
was like, well, how long have they been dead? Ugh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, because he's like, it smells putrid, like old food. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Ugh.
in Joker's demise of like he gets kicked out of the vehicle and then jumps out of the way of a truck, a semi, to fall over the bridge, but he's laughing the whole time. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
because of course he is. This is all hilarious to him. He's
I thought he
had
got
one of
hit
the
by the
best.
truck. I thought he got hit by the truck.
See, I don't know that he did, because if you get hit head on like that, like you're getting run over or popping up, but it was off to the side. But I
It's
guess
always the
there's a
Joker, though.
case
It's
to be
just like,
made.
I thought, because you know
There's a
how he's,
case to be made.
well, because it says, I mean, it literally says wham, and he's up in the air.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like if this weren't happening to me, it would be funny. Oh well, I can take a joke. It's like I can take a joke, he can take a hit. That's how I took it because
All
it's
right.
all
You got me
wham
on this
and
one.
he's up in
Sure.
the air. He's flying, bro. Like he's not jumping off the side. And it's like classic Joker, like you just kind of he's like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
All right. The Joker just is, but he also like it's
Ain't I a stinker?
he licks his wounds because sometimes there's those issues where Joker's like he's nursing a wound like Lonely Place of Dying, right? Like he's
Yeah.
recovering. He's the one who's like recovering. He's on the radio talking to Two Face. Like he's nursing injuries for his comeback. And so
Sure.
anyway, that's I just not to
Missed
belabor
the
that.
point where context is everything. When Robin makes his move, just go Batman on his ass.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Oh yeah. There
can't
are
just
some
drop
funny
that line
lines.
anywhere. Got to definitely have the right context to drop that line, and then it's like, yeah, totally fits. Go Batman on his ass. Then boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now I my every time someone says "son of a bitch," I just think of you now.
Thank you.
That's like I
And you're
can't. So
welcome. You
yeah.
son of a
So
bitch.
yeah. So when Robin's all son of a bitch, hey, I was like,
Yes.
Robin, you got a potty mouth, Robin. Come on.
Yeah, and
But
I like that too. Joke like, hey, there's no language. It's snowing outside. Like
yeah,
that's the reasoning because it's
it's
snowing
snowing
outside. Hey,
outside.
hey, you
So
can't
that
talk
is
like that, you son of a bitch.
yeah. That was funny. So
And I
I
did.
do like the first introduction of the Joker. He's all sup.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah. Sup?
It's such like a early 2000s
Yeah.
like gag, but
Uh,
it's like
maybe the
it is
only
kind of
time
jarring.
The Joker's ever said that
Yeah,
in
it's
any
weird.
medium. Sup?
Yeah, it's because the angle's really well done. He's got the Christmas hat
Yeah.
on. He's all sup. So
Excellent. And it's a
um
whole page. It's not just I said like two panels of Batman. It's five panels of Batman
oh really at
on
the
one
end?
page. Well, four of Batman, and then one of the Bat, and then two of the Batmobile actually. So there you go. Technically
Gotcha.
speaking, in which I do like this dialogue between the two on that. And here, let's see, Batman. I'm proud of you, Tim. You took the worst Joker could give, and you beat him. That may not make you feel better about his victims, but he won't be hurting anyone else for a long time. And and Robin even says that's something, I guess.
Yeah.
And Batman, that sometimes that's all we get. So no, it's not it's not a
Wow.
hopeful,
Yeah.
Christmas season story or anything like that. And it is, to talk about it on a more serious level, like you were saying, or getting a little deeper into it, it is just like, sadly, all you have is it could have been worse. I helped
Yeah.
prevent that. That's
Yeah.
as good as we can. That's all we got right now. Let's take that as a
Yeah.
win. But yeah, it's true.
Which is but which actually I just thought like, oh, it was kind of a downer ending though. Where it's like, well,
Yeah.
dang, there like how many people he took out? I mean, he took out the family, the two in the back, the good dude he hit, the lady he hit. So at least five people were taken out in this thing.
I think is it Wikia fandom, Batman fandom, or fandom.com? One of those. They said that there was like nine victims
Oh man.
in
So
this. Uh, but it's like what happens, you get this shot of after the Santa Claus turn, they were getting onto like a highway or interstate. So it's
yeah,
like they were getting away from people. So how many more lives in this joyride, Slayride,
yeah,
were at stake after this? Like
yeah,
maybe none. So it wasn't like he was aiming for Santa and those kids, and Robin took over, went Batman on his ass, and then
yeah,
took over the vehicle and kicked him out. And it was like, oh, they just saved a tragedy. It's like, no, actually, the tragedies have already happened. They're
yeah,
done. And then he
yeah,
stopped them. And it's like, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that's not,
I mean, he could have had a bomb in
yeah,
there, like he was in a head.
yeah,
I don't know. There's
yeah,
no one on the highway, by the way. I'm like, come on, Christmas time, Christmas shopping in Gotham. I imagine it's much like New York. There's a lot going on.
yeah, true.
There's like one car on
Uh,
the highway. I'm like, what's going on here?
and then yeah, so then that's our, you know, not happy ending.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you wanted to mention?
Mm. It just reminded me of that was just a good time of comics where Robin could go on a little solo mission, there's a lot
Yeah,
going on. And he seemed capable. Like I like when Robin's
yeah,
capable and um but also, you know, he's it showed how resourceful like Tim Drake is,
yeah,
And like, oh, I'm looking for the metal matchbox Hot Wheel car. I'm gonna try to cut my gloves and you know, even like, oh, I'm getting hot, that he has the car heaters on, like that's gonna make me sweaty. I'm gonna be able to maybe pull my glove out. So like just I like the scene, the thought process. So Dini did a good
yeah,
job of just, like giving us some reasons that make it believable for like, okay, how is this
yeah,
guy gonna get out of this? And I like the little details, like Joker was toying with him, literally toying with him.
yeah,
Joker anticipates like everything, right?
yeah.
He had this whole thing set up. I didn't know. The other thing is like, did he know Robin was gonna be there? Like that was kind of a you know, was he a part of that initial like gang war bust up? Who cares? But Robin got into the car.
I don't think
And
there's anything there that can as proof either way.
yeah. Yeah,
So
it just seems like he came across and was like, "Oh, is this
it's like,
I was
holy
just
crap,
gonna go
it's
out."
he was out killing people and took over
Yeah.
a vehicle and sees
He doesn't
Robin
have
and
a
it's just like, oh
plan.
my gosh, this is a
Dog
gift.
chasing cars. Yeah.
Because we don't exactly. In
Well,
which
that
he
would have been
had
cool. The Christmas thing would have been, "Ooh, the unexpected gift was Robin."
yeah.
You know. But,
Yeah.
you know.
And then there was enough time that Robin was knocked out by the gas because he wrapped him up, duct taped an ornament in his mouth, even said, I ditched your belt,
Yeah.
a few minutes back. So, he can think, Joker thinks on his feet a lot
Yeah.
while also seeming like everything was part of the plan.
Yeah.
So, I don't, it totally works for me. Nothing, like you said, it all lines up by Dini to make it
Yeah.
believable and not distracting in a way of like, now wait a second.
Yeah.
The story can just flow because everything's like, yeah, this happened because this happened, which was
Yeah.
because this happened. Works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So no,
Uh,
but it was a good story, and I actually
yeah.
now that we're going through it and talking about it, I feel like there is more Christmas to it. Um,
He's singing a Christmas song,
yeah,
and
I just
I'm dumb and not even thinking about that. I'm like, okay, that, however, could totally be added last second.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah. But the sanity clause thing
doesn't
that's
work except for Christmas time.
it doesn't work except for Christmas. So, but I think I just wanted more Christmas.
Yeah.
And but it is
Okay.
kind of a darker Christmas story, obviously, 'cause
Yeah.
and without the real hope at the end, you know.
Yeah.
But that's Gotham too. And
That's
so
yeah. I was gonna say some stories are really good and they don't have such a happy
yeah,
ending, and that
yeah,
works. So just
yeah,
there's plenty of other Batman Christmas issues. I know. I've been
yeah,
reading them where it ends very
yeah,
hopeful, happy,
yeah,
triumphant,
yeah,
and stuff. And this one takes a different turn, and which that's
yeah,
totally fine. Totally works for me.
yeah.
Uh, you want some questions?
I love some questions.
Excellent.
Yes, you've got a question?
First question. What was your favorite part of Slayride?
Just the ride itself. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one issue, but like just the the peril that Robin's in. Like
Yeah.
this is a really terrible. I can't think of something in comics where like Robin has been in experiencing like people being mowed over. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's just an awful
You could
uh
almost hear
predicament.
the hitting of the bodies
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like we've seen so many movies of hitting, like the sound effect, you can almost just hear it, which is almost even more effective in reading.
Yeah, the way Kramer like illustrated, like I think, I mean, we'll get into art later, but like the where he is hitting people, I mean, it's pretty rough, dude. The way
Yeah.
they're
Effective
just,
and not grotesque.
yeah,
It's not like, oh, you see that their leg fell off and they
yeah,
split open or anything like that, but it's just like, nah, the damage is still done. Like
yeah,
those people aren't getting up, if at all, anytime
yeah,
soon.
yeah,
I struggled with my favorite part.
yeah,
I'll go with runner up though. I really love the whole McDonald's scene.
yeah,
That's nostalgic to me. That's
yeah,
like funny to me. I think and then the capper is taking out the manager, which is evil. But
yeah,
I think my favorite part is the driving towards Santa because I think that that's the most like that tension has been ramped up
yeah,
in
kids,
just a few panels. And it is like, and I asked you, where's the win? What does he want to hear?
yeah,
And what Dini, or I guess what Robin, by way of Dini, comes up with, I think is brilliant.
yeah,
I think it's a great joke. It's used and then it's built off of from that to how Robin does escape. It does
yeah,
link back to a flashback. So I just think that whole part right there, like, the issue turns there towards its ending. Otherwise, I don't know how it gets out of where it
yeah,
goes if you don't have that part.
yeah. You know what it would have been great though? It sucks to like, you want to add stuff if they were like the 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 shake machine doesn't work.
Oh my God, I thought the same thing.
Can
I
you
was like,
imagine? And that was what pissed
so
him off.
true.
If that would have, instead of her
What?
being like, I can't understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
for her to go, oh, I'm sorry, the shake machine doesn't work.
Shake me.
What?
What?
Bam!
Give me your manager.
That's, I mean, if they,
Oh, that's so funny.
if they
I think at
adapted
the
this, that's what I would change.
that joke that is relevant in 2006. Like
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, it was always I want to eggnog shake. Sorry, shake machine's down. And then
Like
the defeat as a kid. This was
what?
your yeah, this was your treat for the day and
Yeah,
disappointment, and you're just a defeated boy.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd have been
That would
great.
have been so
So
fun.
funny.
Sorry, and I think it would have been like that. It would have been actually like
You know what?
the better joke. But you can't rewrite what was made. It just made me. That's what I connected
There
to. He's
there is a
angry there,
way. I think there is a way that we can repurpose some of these panels.
probably,
And I think,
probably. I
yeah,
demand to see your
we'll
manager.
see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see
it
about
all
this.
works. It all
I
works.
think there's a way. There's a way.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
okay,
yeah, the
we'll
last thing he's
revisit
all
this.
two of your special eggnog shakes, a boy's kitty meal, and I'll pay extra for a full assortment of the toys. And if she's all sir, if she was like, I'm sorry to tell you, the eggnog shake machine's not working, and that's all you'd have to do is replace that one line
Yeah,
instead of you're talking too fast, saying sorry the thing doesn't work, and he's like of all the incompetence, and then change his dialogue.
I think I
Anyways,
can make this happen.
you
I'm
can
gonna
make
get
this
on it. I'm
happen.
gonna try this between now
Yeah,
and when we drop this
do it.
episode. I'm gonna see.
Nice.
Justin, what was your favorite panel of Slayride?
Oh man, that was the thing, bro. So as we get to the art, I think Don Kramer is highly competent, um, but he's also more of a house style DC early 2000s. Like I don't know if he's ever been. Drawing is hard, you know,
Yeah.
right? But and I think he does actually a really good job at Joker, but I don't know if he's like ever going to be on, when you have your famous Batman book club, top 10 artists. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
on there, right?
Yeah.
And that being said, there's not a splash page on here where I'm like, "Oh, dude, that image has hit me," right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in this story where I'm like that should be a poster, right? Like uh, but I do. There is a panel where I'm trying to find it. What page it's on? It's hard because this trade page. It's like the last in this trade, and it's like really thin pages. Yeah, there's this close up on his eyes,
Hmm.
and it's really creepy, and I really like that. I'm gonna show it to you. Like that's
Oh
like my
yeah.
favorite. That's like
When
my
he's coming
favorite image.
as he's
Yeah,
fading to black
yeah,
before the flashback.
yeah. I like that image a lot. I think that kind of that's a creepy thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
Like,
Joker.
oh
Ah!
shoot, yeah. Because then, absolutely, the next page, the whole page with Tim Drake and Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, that's a very confusing
Yeah.
page because he didn't really differentiate the ages well.
Yeah.
Like, there's even a point where Tim Drake looks really old. I'm like, wait, what? That doesn't even look like like just
Yeah.
it was kind of the confusing storytelling in um even Dick Grayson, where that and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I know where they're at.
Where are they?
That whole time,
Where
Dick
are
Grayson,
they?
yeah, Bruce and the Bat family went to Nanda Parbat for a year
Hmm.
during 1 year later, and I'm wondering if
Oh.
this is them on the way going there,
Mm.
because this is 1 year later stuff, and so if they're flashing back to when they all took their like spiritual like retreat up in the mountains,
There you
I
go.
think I think that's where they're going here, or it looks like they're training. Maybe they're just kind of locked up in a bunker there. So that's what I think's going on there. Like they're away. They're at that place. So, anyways,
Well
that's
done. Okay. See, gave us enough
my brain
time.
was like, I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to get back there because I started thinking about it while we were chatting. I was like, oh yeah, I think that's where they're at. But
Yeah.
anyways, that was a
So
confusing.
face
It
to
was a
face.
confusing spot.
So
The,
face to face, which we've covered on here, I talked about with the great Chris Clow.
mhm,
That was because I was trying to think of the timeline when I said 2006. And I'm like, how did I
yeah,
miss this one? Because I had face to face some of those
yeah,
issues. That was at the time that I was starting to get back. And
yeah,
yeah, the face to face was Detective. It was Batman and Detective, but
yeah,
Detective 817 to 820. So it was
yeah,
the summer prior to this coming out.
yeah,
Um, so okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sweet.
yeah.
Well done. We had a breakthrough.
I solved it.
You did.
I, Detective
Very Batman
Detective
of you.
Comics. Well,
Yeah, Detective Rocca.
Detective Rocket.
I think there's plenty to be said on what you were saying about Kramer.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's come up in our discussion here of I've been emphasizing like the close-ups of Joker. So
Yeah.
I think that's where he adds a lot of lines and
Yeah.
pencils, and I think that really like those are standing out to me because it's
Hmm.
less house style, it's a little more intricate, and that's the stuff
Yeah.
that really popped to me. But I think my favorite panel is Sup because
Yeah. It's a cool shot.
that you know, as I've said so many times on here, it's like one image, no context, and like can you have fun building a story around that? And I think that's one of
Yeah.
like, you know, you're tied, you're stuck in a vehicle, and there's Joker, festive, sup, and you're just, I mean, your reaction would be like, shit,
Yeah. You're
like,
like, oh man.
uh-oh, not looking good.
Yeah.
Would you like to
Because
see this? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because the cover, back then they had these like black and white covers. The cover
Yeah,
isn't as interesting as that panel.
don't love the
But
cover.
yeah, the cover, I mean, it has Joker, aiming a gun at Tim Drake and whatever, but I and there is nothing Christmassy about that cover, by the way. So that's
Yeah,
what gives
that's what I
more
was gonna say too.
credence to our thought. So um
Robin's covered in, or he's tied up by a rope. He's not
yeah,
like he's not gagged by ornament. Joker doesn't have a Christmas hat on. Like
yeah,
definitely a neutral any time of year cover.
yeah. So that's the image that you pick, I think, is way more enticing and indicative of the whole story. It's like, okay, Joker's
Yeah.
in a car, he has a Santa hat, and he's going, "Stop."
Yeah.
It's it's
Love
a
it.
it's a it's a good it is a great image.
Would you like to see this adapted in animation?
I actually, yeah, because I know that question was coming, and I thought, man, what a great, this lends itself really well to a, you can probably edit it down into a quick, like, 10 to 15 minute uh, adventure. It reminded me of like the Gotham Knights, Holiday
Hmm.
Nights episode,
Yeah.
or is this the three little vignettes? And a lot of those were adapted from the comics, anyways.
Yeah. The holiday
Uh,
special
yeah,
done
yeah.
on this
So,
show by Jay Oz.
hey, shout out to Jay Oz. So I could see like if they were ever going to do another some
Yeah.
type of animated block of stuff, that would work really well. Um, and then we can get our shake joke in there as well.
Yeah. I think
Adapted.
I think this is a story that could fit any animated series.
Yeah.
Instantly my mind goes to like just because it's Dini, I think I'm like, I think its best shot was the animated series. Could have done
Yeah.
another Christmas Joker episode and it'd have been this one.
Yeah.
I think I mean we were teased by Caped Crusader of the Joker,
Yeah.
you know, if not Robin, I mean substitute Batman in for Robin and you could
Hmm.
like this could you could do a similar thing
Yeah.
inspired by
Yeah.
so I think it's malleable. The story is it can fit. You can remove the Christmas stuff, and it does take place at a different time if need be. So,
Yeah.
I definitely I would want it Christmassy though. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
It can fit in anything. So I would definitely like to see it.
Cool.
Uh, Mr.
Same.
Kowalski,
Yeah.
I think that about does it for this episode. Thanks for celebrating Christmas and Batman with me. Well,
Yeah, man.
not much Batman.
Well, he's
Barely.
there. He's there.
He's
It's like
he,
the ghost of Christmas past. He's there in spirit.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, pal. Why don't you go ahead and plug away anything and everything you want to.
Yeah, you can find me on X, Justin M. Kowalski. I am there. And yeah, I just did some Batman social hours. We were talking about Superman, and I've been on a couple of those. So yeah, I will
That
probably
will
be on
be
those shows.
out by the time this episode drops. So
Yeah, so you
go
can
to
get
that feed.
a double dose, a double dose.
A
So
double dose of Justin, if you
that's
can
right.
handle
If
it.
you like me, if you don't
Yeah.
like me, just send Pete a message. Let him know.
Yeah,
Let him
Pete
know
wants to
that.
hear everything, and then he'll
Yeah,
filter it and let Justin know what was said.
yeah. He'll tell me.
No,
He's
he'll
my
tell you straight
PR.
up.
He's my
Kowalski.
PR guy. People
Yeah.
are mad at you. I don't
Well,
like
it's
Vincent. I can't help it. I don't like him.
he's your PR guy, Peter R. Vera. Totally makes sense.
Oh, he's my
It's all
PRV. That's right.
connected. Your PRV. Yes.
That's right.
As for Batman Book Club, on the socials stuff at the Batman BC for latest episode drops, upcoming episodes, sometimes some giveaways. Haven't done one in a
Cool.
long time. Thought I was gonna, and I forgot. I flat out forgot. Oops. I keep saying it's not gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen in 2025. Pete and I are going to no man's land. It's gonna happen next year. Life's just crazy. You know, it
Yeah,
gets
no, I
busy.
get it. I
Stuff
get
gets
it.
busy. We're gonna make it happen though, because I bought the omnibus, so I'm definitely
You
gonna
better.
I'm diving into it. Um, if you want to support the show, a variety of ways you can do it. Patreon.com/the Batman BC, tpublic.com, type in
Hmm.
TBBC for the Batman Book Club, where some really cool things designed by Justin Kowalski
What
is
a
available
guy.
there. He's a great guy, and that helps support the show. But if you want to support the show and you don't want to spend any money at all, that's 100% a-okay. Easiest, quickest, and most impactful thing you can do is rate and review the show. So
That's
however you
right.
listen to it, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, a bunch of other things I'm not even mentioning. Go to the rate and review page, rate and review the show. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as all of us know, that word is panic. So for Justin Kowalski, I am Ryan Lauer. Merry Christmas to all. Happy holidays to all. Pete and I will be back for a wrap up before the New Year, so we'll say Happy New Year then. But
What about an
don't hop.
unwrapping? Can you unwrap the
Hey, an
December
unwrapping
books?
episode. Oh my gosh, Justin, no way. December unwrapped because it'll be post Christmas. So then
That's
I
right.
like it. Ooh, that's good. December unwrapped.
There you go.
Bit of advice: don't take any rides from strangers.
There you go.
If we've learned anything.
Yeah.
So
Done.
for Justin, I am Ryan. Until next
All
time,
new.
read more about